Hi.
What up?
I'm Debbie.
Debbie boyfriend, you know the vibes.
So today we want to talk about COVID and how we survived that. Yeah, it's a
Big
blessing.
dog. You tried to scrap with the god, COVID-19. Guess what? From Brooklyn, we scrap.
I'm gonna destroy this place.
Hold up! You came to the wrong body today. We about to beat your ass. Yeah. No, you got the wrong one.
Ain't
We
home.
running raids.
Okay, on a serious
My
note,
bad.
yes, it's a blessing that it was a long fucking 4 weeks, like 6 weeks. It was a month.
Yeah, month and a week.
Yeah. So we'll talk about literally just like the timeline of events. So week 1.
Well,
Backtrack?
week 1, we could do
Oh.
initially for me, because I'm
That's
the
week
one
one.
that brought it to you. I
Yeah.
apologize for that, it's my bad.
It's okay.
I caught it. So initially, the first 48 hours, it was like rapid speed. It was like Friday. I started getting headaches. I usually get that if my eating pattern is a little weird, because a lot of times I just get little snacks and a smoothie till I get home. So sometimes my body be like, "Yo, feed me, dog." So it just go. I get headaches. So we was going to get something to eat. And then initially,
You still had a headache.
I just had a headache all day from like 2 on, and I took all of the stuff we usually take, etc. And I ate stuff like that, and it was still metro booming. So I was just like, I don't think this is normal.
Yeah, it was weird that you had it, because usually like with the Excedrin it goes away like this. And I remember, I think you went to sleep with the headache or something like that, right?
So then
next
that was
day.
on a Friday. Woke up Saturday. It's a headache fever mixture. So like now I'm over 100 degrees.
Then what happened?
Then it turned into chills. And what I had to do was try to sweat that out. So I hoodied up, blanketed up, got rid of that. Headache was still on 10. And then actually before that it was also a mixture of chills. So after I sweated it out, I started getting chills. So it's fever chills mixture. So after I got those two out the way, it was just a headache. And then that morphed into congestion, so I could not breathe.
Yeah.
At all.
Was that the next day or was that the same day that you got
It was
the
the
congestion?
same day.
Yeah.
It was the same day. So it rapid speed. First 48 hours, headache, into fever, into chills, into congestion, can't breathe. So 48 hours. So the next 2 days after that, much of the same. Luckily the headaches kind of subsided. It started to go away, and then from that point on, for me, the bulk of it was just congestion. Luckily, I still had taste. Appetite was gone throughout for like still the first 2 weeks. Like I didn't really care to eat or
Did you
drink anything.
When you had the congestion, you lost your sense of smell? Well, yeah, right?
Yeah, I couldn't smell nothing.
Okay.
So
And I remember, so this was like the week of, the weekend of 4th of July. It was 4th of July weekend. So you were actually supposed to go to work on Monday, but you was like, yeah, nah, I don't feel comfortable. Even though at that point we didn't know it was COVID, like there was no confirmation of it, but you was already sick, so it's kind of like, nah, I'm not gonna go to work because just in case.
I work with a lot of, not work with, but in the building it's mostly empty, but it's a lot of older people in there, so I'm not trying to be the reason somebody gets it. So I was just taking precautions like they say you're supposed to do. I called my boss. I told him I was still feeling bad. Then he told me take 3 days, see how you feel, see if you want to go in. I took the 3 days, and then that turned into me saying I'm not gonna go in until I get a test, because it just don't make sense. Stuff still hasn't gone away. The whole time I'm doing this, getting a lot of advice from people. They saying teas and vitamins and stuff like that, and I was doing a good job of doing vitamins, not necessarily the tea, but taking my vitamins and trying to adjust what I put in my body a little bit to fight off possibly getting the disease. So I'm trying all of that. Nothing's really working, and so at that point I go to get tested. I was actually outside of work and I just didn't go in because I was just like,
oh, I remember that. Yeah, we like, he was ready to go back because they had said originally like 3 days. So we like pulled up and he was just like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna go in because I still don't feel 100%. So yeah, we ended up getting tested, both of us. At that point, I didn't have anything. Like, I was just kind of taking care of you and being like, yeah, we should just go to get tested. And if he's gonna get tested, then I'll just might as well do it too. So.
And we did, at that point, we did sleep and reside in separate rooms. So I immediately quarantined from you.
Yeah, well, okay, so yes. So when we got the results back, I was negative. It only took like 2 or 3 days after that to get the first results. I came back negative and he came back positive. So at that point, we was like, oh, bye. Mm-hmm. So we were like quarantined from each other. We did like virtual doctor's visits. And they like basically suggested the same thing, that we should stay away from each other. And then literally like the next day, I started feeling like shit. At that point, mind you, we're still in going into week 2. Between week 1 and week 2. So at this point, you still have the congestion. You're kind of just hanging out in the living room, just trying to get better, because at this point you're definitely positive. So me, the next day after is when I started getting the symptoms, where I had a headache for a little while. It didn't last that long, but it turned into a fever. So like, it was a super low grade fever though. It was like, the first time I took it, it was like 99.1 or something like that. But I felt it. I was like, and I had the chills. So at that point, I can't remember. I ended up just doing a virtual doctor's visit. Told them that I had tested negative, but that I was having some symptoms. So they just gave me like, drink Dayquil and NyQuil and you'll be fine in a couple days. No, it just kept getting worse and worse. Week 2 was pretty like slow because at that point nothing really crazy had happened. So week 3, that's when I only had the fever for that 1 or 2 days the first time, and then that next week following like that weekend, the next week I had a fever 2 nights in a row. So then and it was still a low grade fever. It was like 99.4, 99.8. So it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I realized that every time like I took a deep breath, my chest started like hurting. Like, you know, you take a deep breath now and it's just kind of like, but every time I did that, it was like this like pain in my chest, and I was like, oh no, this isn't okay.
Yeah, because
so
chest pain is one of the symptoms that they tell you should probably go see.
I didn't even know that, honestly. I was just kind of like, I really just chalked it up to like, oh shit, like my respiratory system has always been trash. Every time I get sick, the shit lingers forever. So I was like, oh, like this might just be some shit like that. So it was 9:30 at night. I was like, you know what? I think you told me to do a doctor's visit, and they did it. Like, it was like a 24-hour thing. So I ended up calling them at 9:30, and I was like, I know it's late. I have this low grade fever, but the reason I'm really here is because I have this pain in my chest that kind of worries me, other than like the rest of the stuff. And so they ended up giving me like an inhaler, some type of 2 antibiotics actually. One of them was like a pack that I had to take for like 5 days or 6 days, and still taking the antibiotics and the inhaler. They were like, try this. If the chest pain doesn't go away with the inhaler, you're gonna have to go in for some chest x-rays. And I was like, I bet. So at this point, you're still congested, because you were congested for a while, or at least you would wake up congested, right? Something like that. Because you were pretty much like, at this point he was okay, like it was just the congestion that was lingering for him, but you didn't have body aches or anything like that at that point.
Nah,
Week 3.
like luckily for me experiencing it, It was initially like 4 days that it was bad, and then it was just congestion throughout. So I started to get my appetite back pretty quick. Started getting my. It did like leave me, like, kind of just wanting to lay down for most part. So I started getting energy back, and it was really congestion throughout. So, I did a doctor visit also. They gave me, I think, 2 antibiotics to take. So yeah, I can say that when I started taking the antibiotics, it did help surprisingly, because it's just something that they say you gotta just wait till it leaves your system. So for the most part, in fighting it, but I usually, since I only had congestion and the main thing was congestion, and then I had like a slight cough. I did have a cough, so they gave me something for the congestion and the cough. And then the cough went away immediately. The congestion took damn near the whole prescription of it. So it took a while, but luckily some of the stuff did help. And I'm learning, well, not learning, but throughout experiencing, watching, getting resources for how you fight off the COVID-19. It's really a lot of like warm liquids like teas. Ginger tea is supposed to help you like open up.
Yeah, we was taking that a lot.
Yeah, for your congestion and your throat. A lot of vitamins, so zinc, vitamin C, just to build up your immune system so you can have something to like fight it.
That's one of the things that helped you, like, kind of, it didn't recover quickly, but definitely like bounce back a little quicker. Is that you had already gotten into like this routine of every day going into work. In the morning you would take the vitamin C, zinc, like elderberry at some point. So it's like, I guess his immune system was set up to like bounce back quicker, although he still like was going through it for some time, but it definitely didn't linger like it did for me. So at this point we're at week 4, because he's okay. I'm still fucking struggling because, sure. No, but honestly, like, to be real, I feel like I'm kind of grateful that it happened the way it did. Not grateful is a strong word given the circumstance, but because our like sickness was at different timelines, like I was able to take care of him and he was able to take care of me. Because if we would have both been knocked out, it would have been hell on fucking earth. So I feel like that was just like a blessing in disguise kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the weird part about it was both the tests, you had 3 tests, no, 4.
Yeah, at the end of this, because week 4, by the way, like I know we're like jumping all over the place, but by week 4, I still don't have sense of taste and smell, which I think I lost in week 3. And I have this cough. So the chest pain went away, but it turned into a cough. So I just have this lingering cough like all the time. Still eating warm stuff, and like it's just like that for like the duration of the rest of the time that I have it. In all of this, I ended up taking the test 3 times. Well, 4 times now, because last week I had to take another one. Let's not talk about that. 4 times. But yeah.
Yeah, so you took 4. The initial one was negative. The second one was inconclusive. The third one was negative. And then they did check that you didn't have a false negative, so they tested you again, and the last one was negative. So technically,
I never had the shit.
You never had it.
No, that's what my brother was saying too. Like, I never really had it, but I definitely had all of the symptoms, because like when I was in the midst of it, when I was taking the antibiotics, because mind you, once I finished the first antibiotics, they sent me another set, which was like a steroid pack. I was having side effects to the antibiotics on top of that, which was fucking rude. And I literally, it was like scary, because I'm thinking, like, to me, because I didn't register in my head that it was antibiotics that was causing a lot of that stuff. I'm thinking it's just more of the COVID symptoms. Like, I'm just getting worse and worse. So it was fucking scary, because I was like, bruh. And then it wasn't until you went to go get me some like probiotics and like medicine that it calmed everything down. And I was like, okay, so it was definitely the antibiotics.
Yeah, at that point, you was putting a lot in your body.
I know.
So
I know.
it got you a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of variations of different situations, even in our age group, and yeah, it's definitely like.
Yeah, because it varies depending on other health factors that a person has. So, I mean, I guess we haven't. I mean, I haven't gone for a checkup in a while, so I don't know if I have any other health factors right now. But I mean, luckily nothing else got too complicated. We didn't have to go to the hospital or emergency room. We were able to self-quarantine and get through, but it was a difficult experience. Just wanted to let y'all know what happened with our experience, let y'all know it is serious. It is a real thing. We did have it. It's a lot of people don't realize stuff actually goes on until it happens to somebody close to them. So it happened to 2 people close to you.